Hello, welcome back to Marissa Knits. I can't believe it's May already. Oh my gosh. We're just gonna jump right in where we left off. There's a couple things that are gifts, so I have to film now because if I finish them and give them away, then I won't be able to film them ever. But we're gonna start off with the thing I made for myself. The colors blocked out so beautifully. I don't think this was done the last time I filmed. You can really see the line where my color work reset. I probably should have done something about that, but whatever. This is Abstruse by Melanie Rice. The designer definitely hearted my project on Ravelry. I think I'm like one of the first ones to make it on there. There was like one pattern section I left out and I replaced it with a different one. There's a lot of different options. It's a bit like a doodle cowl in that you can like change the colors on the charts and invent your own charts and change the order of them, and it does not matter at all. There's some light blues, like this light blue I just was using up near the beginning, and like the light green, the light blue, that light green color I used up pretty early on, and so I hardly have any of that left. Yeah, this is very cute. I think I did this on a size 3 needle because it's fingering weight and I wasn't getting a nice fabric when I tried it with size 4. It's very cute. I like how small it is. I don't have a lot of small cowls, so this is really good for spring. I've biked to work with it. There's times where it gets like this and you can see the back side of the work with all of the threads. And that's a little bit annoying. I wish I'd made the ribbing like longer and tighter almost, just on the top. But I do wear it in both directions. So yeah, maybe I should have done a little bit of shaping, but overall, I think it's really beautiful. And I love how abstract it is. It's cute. I have been wearing it quite a bit. The colors are also going to work for fall. So that's nice. I recommend you check out her patterns. I don't know if I have anything more to say about it. I was trying to use this to use up some scraps, but I don't know that I did because I had to buy the white yarn, although it's sock yarn, so I'm going to make some white socks with like a bit of color work on them at some point. So the white will definitely be used again. Like white fingering white yarn is just really useful to have. I didn't have any. I used up a decent amount of the black and the green, and yeah, as far as like the tan, that was a random scrap I had. I didn't really even touch the tan. There's a lot of orange left, and I was hoping I would have used more of it up. So, yeah, maybe we'll wear this. Maybe we'll just wear this. It's a little hard to put on too. One other thing is I did a terrible job with my floats and my joins and my end weaving in. I was just being really, really, really lazy. So it does get like caught on my earrings when I'm putting it on, and that's my bad. That is my fault. Oh, that's so cute. It even matches my shirt. There we go. If you're confused, why is she wearing a cowl in May? I live in Wisconsin, so there you go. Although it was 70 degrees today, but it still feels nice. Around that same time, I also made these socks as another scrap project. Aside from the rainbow pastel wool that had a tiny little bit left of it from a different project, I used that up on the heels, which was kind of a pain in the butt because all of these were like cut up pieces of yarn. You can even tell they're not the same color. So I had to just keep tying and keep weaving in, and I actually had to like save like 2 sets of, I had to match the scraps up, so I had half for the first heel and then half for the second heel, but that ended up being perfect. These purples are different colors, but that's fine. It's the whole they're sisters not twins thing. Yeah, that yarn's just like a little tonal and goes from a blue purple to like a redder purple, so yeah, all 3 of these colors are from my Fiberfest shawl that I showed in the last video. So I will like copy the color names for you from there, and you can just go click on that video if you like want to see more of these colors. I really need to take the pink and like sew some duplicate stitches into that hole there. This is actually color work here. It's just that the colors are so similar that you can't even really tell that they're supposed to be stripy there. I definitely did this section too tight with my color work, and it was really a struggle to get them on. But I stretched them out, I like washed them and I yanked on them and stretched them out a lot and wore them enough. I think I even slept in them a couple days. I managed to stretch them out. There's nylon in them, so I was able to make it work. I've worn these a lot. They're already getting like a little fuzzy or maybe slightly felted in some spots, which is totally fine. I'm very happy with them. The pattern is Reverie. I made 2 of this pattern for people for Christmas presents last year, and I hadn't done a short row heel successfully really since then, so I decided to make myself a short row heel. And I think I'm probably in the camp that like gusset flaps fit better. And I don't mind picking up the stitches, and I don't mind knitting the whole flap and then picking up and then doing the decreases and everything. I think that's kind of fun. Like, I'm getting in the groove with that type of construction. So I'm glad I did this. Definitely I did this part too tight. Also because these are a size small, so I think 64 stitches. And a different pattern where I did 64 stitches for myself, they were a bit big. So I was trying to keep it kind of tight, but I definitely overdid it. So yeah, I think I've only washed them once, but I have been wearing these quite a bit. So they're a success. My Reverie, very springtime, summery colors. That's about it. So those were the socks for myself. And then the next sock I made, now there's a reason I only have one. I needed the needles to make other socks for somebody whose birthday is even sooner. This yarn is Ancient Mariner, that's the name of the color. It is by Goosey Fibers. I'm like addicted to her colors, so I just keep buying them. So yep, this is Ancient Mariner. It's a pretty popular color. I almost was even going to order another one because when I was showing the different yarn options to my dad and then to like some other family members who were around, all of them were like obsessed with this one. They really liked the dark colors. It's just a standard sock. It's a little weird. I measured his feet. Now my dad has very strange feet, so I have notes for what I did, but it's not going to be helpful for you. So he's a pretty tall man. He's like 6 feet-ish, but he only wears a size 8 shoe. So his feet are short, but like the bones at the top of his foot are like really like bulky and they stick up. So I left a lot of room here. Like after the gusset, I didn't do a lot of decreases. I left a lot of room here at the front of the foot. And then I did a little bit of decreases here to like catch up to it. And then, yeah. And also I made the ankle like a bit smaller than this part of the foot. Even more so than I would for most people. So I think I might actually have him try this on just to make sure it's not like really far off and that will actually get on his foot. But I'm feeling pretty good about it. I mean, it looks like a sock with just some extra room in the foot. Yeah, he legitimately has finally gotten a podiatrist because his feet have hurt like his entire life. And when they were sending in the order for his inserts, the like foot doctor person had to like write the measurements down himself with a note that said, "These are not wrong. These are real. I'm the doctor and these are the real measurements." So that's how weird his feet are. We're going to see if it works. We're going to see if he likes them. Hope that he does. Then I got my other half of the yarn there to make the second sock, and I do have notes on my phone about that. So in the meantime, like while I was making that, my one friend was over. Her birthday was actually last Friday, but she was over in April. And for some reason, as I was like, maybe it's because I was knitting a sock, but she told me that she got alpaca socks for Christmas, but it was like their white elephant, like a random gift exchange. It was like from her uncle. She got these like fully alpaca socks, and they're really fluffy. And she said that they're her favorite socks ever because her feet like don't sweat and they don't bother her, and she absolutely loves them. And that was a big shock to me because she has allergies like I do, so I would have never like thought to make her something with alpaca because I would have thought it would have bothered her. And she also has terrible, terrible eczema. Not right now, but she goes through phases where she has really bad eczema outbreaks, and I've had eczema before that's not nearly as severe as hers. So I know how painful it is when the fibers are like getting caught on like the dry like flaky skin you get. So anyway, I was really pleasantly surprised to hear how excited she was about alpaca socks, and I told her like I'll make you some. So I had to order this yarn. The yarn is called Alpaca Socks, SOX, and I don't think they like are dyeing this color right now, but I was able to buy it off of a different website. I'll put the name on the screen and in the description, but this is the color I got. It is 70% alpaca, which is really pretty soft, and it has that like extreme fuzz with like the really long little tiny but super long fibers on it. And then it's 30% nylon because it's a sock yarn. So I measured her feet also, and I'm making her like a size large basically. I'm knitting it pretty long because she wears a 10.5 shoe, so I am going off of her measurements for this as well. And this pattern is the mermaid. It's called something after mermaid. Mermaid whatever by Summer Lee Designs. It's almost done. I'm planning to finish it tonight. This is only my 3rd day working on this sock. Like the first day, I think I even turned the heel on the first day. I just knocked a ton of this out. I didn't make it super long because since she has pretty long feet and this is a pattern, I'm concerned with running out of yarn. Now I know this is like the loudest, most obnoxious color you've probably ever seen in your entire life. But in my defense, like my friend Emma, she loves bright colors. She loves like bright pink and purple and yellow, and this is really her vibe. There were a couple others I was considering, some that were more rainbow, but this is what I ended up going with. And this is the first sock. I'm feeling pretty confident about the fit. I think she fits more into standard shoe sizes. Like there's nothing unusual about the fit for her. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and make both of them right away and just give them to her. Hopefully they fit, because I have a feeling if I had to rip this out, it would be really sticky and not fun to have the fiber, especially with this type of pattern with you pick up the stitches kind of as you go. I think I'm gonna have to look up the name of the pattern for you. It's the one that has like mermaid scales in it. Let's take one last look. I'm decently happy with how the color hasn't pooled or striped in like a too annoying of a way. I mean, it's pooled a bit like on the bottom. You can see there's like a big gap where there's no yellow, and then there's a giant yellow stripe, and then there's a red, and then there's yellow again. So yeah, a little bit of pooling there, but that's on the bottom, and it's not as noticeable on the top. It's a little stripey. I'm really hoping that the second one and this one, that the colors are like mismatched, because if they came out accidentally like really close to being the same, there's no way they would be identical. I didn't 100% follow the pattern either. Like, I added like 2 stitches to my stitch count for most of it, just to give it a little bit of extra room. I'm not really sure why I did that, because I think the yarn is thicker than standard yarn anyway. I don't know if I have anything more to say about those socks. This is going to be a pretty short video, but like I said, these are presents, and so if I'm going to film them, I have to film them now while they're almost done, because, yeah. Finally, we have a garment. In a couple weeks, it is my sister-in-law's birthday. I am making her the camisole number 5 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. I've not done any of her patterns before. I really haven't, aside from a little bit of Stephen West, I would say I have not done any trendy patterns or like well-known designers really in the last year or two since I've been knitting more and more. I don't know. There's something about how everybody is making them all the time, nonstop, that just has me like, I don't know why. It's just not my vibe. At least with Petite Knit, who I would say is the most popular pattern designer. The thing with her stuff is I would be more likely to purchase it if it was like the men's and women's, if the like child and women's and men's sizes were like all included in the pattern for like 10 or 11 or whatever dollars. Like, I don't want to spend $8 on a baby pattern and $8 on a women's pattern, and then like I probably would get the men's pattern if anything. So yeah, like there's a couple sweaters I've been tempted to get, but I'm like, that kind of annoys me because I know the patterns are decently different from each other. Anyway, that's a little bit of a rant, I guess, but so this was my first foray into doing something really, really, really popular, and it's not done. It's not done. I'm really, really liking it so far. I was nervous about the sizing because my sister-in-law is very tall. She's like, I think she must be like 5'10" or 5'9". She's very tall. So I was worried about like the length of it. I was worried about how it was going to fit around the underarm, but these underarms are actually really, really deep. That's part of the design, so I think that is benefiting us. I had some trouble like understanding the pattern when it was like the increases. You start by knitting the shoulder straps, so you just have this tiny little rib thing on your needles, and then you have these very specific increases and decreases that it's just increases. These really specific increases that have to be in a certain spot. And there was a time when I was really confused looking at the pattern. What was confusing to me was the edge stitches in the straps, because I just didn't really understand the abbreviation for edge stitches. Like, you really have to sit and read the entire pattern. I don't know. Maybe I should be a little more patient, but I don't need that much information from a pattern. Like, I don't want to have to read a ton of different sections. I just want everything that I need to just be in one section. Like, the way the edge stitch was labeled, I'm like, I get that you want me to know that that's an edge stitch. And I ended up picking them up later anyway, so I guess it didn't even matter because they just got picked up. But I was like, why can't you just like put knit or purl the right or wrong side? Like, why can't you write that in the row? You know what I mean? It's just a couple rows pattern. Why can't you just include like knit 1 or purl 1? Well, you can even put a little bracket or put a bold on it with a thing on the side that says like the bold, like this is the edge stitch, you know? I would prefer that because the edge stitch instructions were just like on a completely different page, and I didn't really read it right away. I figured it out. It's all fine in the end, but I think this is a beautiful pattern. So what I did was I just followed the top of it. I'm knitting her a size medium based on her measurements, and I did have her try it on, and it fit pretty well. That was before I did all the edging. The edging really makes this look really polished and a lot more professional. So I just knit the entire top of it, like the pattern says, until I ran out of yarn. Then I put it straight, so this is my first ball of yarn. When I ran out of my first ball of yarn, I put it on the waste yarn, had her try it on to confirm that she could get it over her head, and we talked about doing about 2 more inches of this. Then I took my second ball of yarn, picked up the collar, and did the double knitting for the collar. I mean, it was supposed to be after I did the armband, but who cares? Nobody cares. And the reason I did the edging like in the middle of the project instead of leaving it till last is I thought if I was like almost done with the project and I'm having to do this double knitting, I thought I would get impatient and not do as good of a job. And I did really enjoy doing the edging in the middle. Yeah. I would recommend stopping in the middle of your project, in the middle of the body. Stop and go like do the edging to like in between to keep things interesting. Because when you have something like this where all the edges are done and the top of it is beautiful, I'm about to weave in the ends, then I just have to pick this up and just rib a little bit more. It's not even a sewn bind off for this one, it's just a regular bind off. All I have to do is like pick this up and mindlessly rib for like 2.5 inches and then do a regular bind off and then we'll just weave in that end and dunk it and mail it to her. I did block this also, that's why it's looking so good. So I did all these edges. I thought the instructions for the edges were really well done, really beautifully done. Like I picked up for the collar according to the instructions and I had like 100% exactly the right stitch count the first time without even trying. And I was like, that's good. That's good pattern writing when somebody who's like not paying that much attention and has never really, like I've never picked up stitches according to a ratio before. When somebody who's like not trying that hard is just like 1, 2, 3, skip one, like when they get the right stitch count right away the first time, that's good. You nailed it with your instructions. Ms. My Favorite Things Knits on that one. I added a couple stitches to like around the underarm, but like I said, she's really tall, so I'm not worried about that. I had a bit of trouble with my grafting, as you can see there. It is not perfect by any means, but who's going to be looking at this like grafted edge? I mean, it's still prettier than like most machine-made clothes are, I would say. That's the front because there's a bit of a V there, and the back is just straight. This is really beautiful. I had a lot of fun making it. More fun than I expected. I actually think I might make one for myself. Anything that requires a second skein of yarn, and I'm gonna have a lot of leftovers, so I have to buy 2 of them and then have leftovers, like, that's hard. If I'm making myself a tank top, since I'm short and I'm a pretty small person, luxuriously, I can make myself a really small summer shirt, a tank top, some kind of really little top that, like, just with 1 skein of yarn. It's possible to do that. And so it's hard for me to buy 2. But I think it's worth it for this to get the edging, because the edging's really nice. Let's talk about what the yarn is. I got sock yarn because she had picked this color yellow when I explained what I was making her. And there was a couple fingering weights that had 2 skeins at the yarn store, and we just picked this color, and she does love the color, so thank goodness for that. This is You Socksy Thing. It is sock yarn. There's 15% nylon in it, and then 10% tencel. I don't know what that even means. I have no idea. The color is Goldfinger L12. Oh, this is by Pearl Talk. Pearl Talk. I think she's in the Midwest somewhere, maybe even in Wisconsin, I'm not sure. Yeah, this is beautiful. I'm enjoying it a lot. So that'll be done pretty soon. I'll take some pictures, but it's basically gonna look like this, just a little bit longer. And then I'll mail it to her and she can start wearing it. What else? Oh, what I was gonna say is I tried to make gauge and I couldn't make gauge at all. Her gauge is pretty tight for that needle size. I ended up doing this on a size 2 and it's absolutely perfect. It was supposed to be a size US 3, but I switched to a size US 2. So yeah, that has been what I've been working on in the last couple of weeks. I am probably going to be starting some Christmas projects early. I'm undecided of how many like stockings I want to try and make this year. I want to make a couple stockings like for my husband and I and the cat and stuff. I might make some for my in-laws. So there's going to be multiple videos about this situation, but So actually, I don't even know how to put this out there. It was like 10 days ago now. My in-laws, so my husband's parents, their family home, like burned down to the ground completely. And nobody was home. Nobody was hurt. The firefighters, like, were not hurt, thank goodness. But yeah, by the time the fire department, it was a rural log home. So by the time the fire department, like, got out there, it was already burning so much that they knew it was going to be a loss. They've been really, like, wanting a lot of privacy with it, so I'm not going to say much more than, like, everything is fine, like the insurance and the having somewhere to stay, and we're really blessed in a lot of ways that everything's fine, and it's not, like, there's no emergency. There's no, there's really no emergency. Everything's fine. But they did, of course, lose all of their Christmas decorations, including stockings that, like, I think my father-in-law's oldest sister had made all of their stockings. So I might remake, well, just make, because we don't have photos of them, I don't think. I might make my mother-in-law and father-in-law stockings, like, with their names on it, like handmade ones, for them to have for their future, like, new house. But tragically, there's, if you happen to watch my videos, or you can go back and watch it if you want, it's in my, like, things I made in 2023 video. I made my father-in-law like custom honeybee sweater, because he's a beekeeper. It has honeycomb and like bees and stripes and stuff on it. I was really proud of it, and it was a bit of a masterpiece. I kind of designed it myself. I used flax as like my base pattern to get some measurements. So it's a raglan pullover, like men's sweater. That was at the house, and so it burned up. He was only ever able to wear it a couple of times, I think, last winter, and it burned up. So that's fine. I will not be dissuaded. I will not let it get me down. I still have some of my pollen yarn. I'm gonna measure it to see, like, if I should try and get more in case I can't. I really love the pollen, like, yellow color I had. I have lots of the black left over because I only use, those are my contrast colors. So I'm going to remake it. I'm going to basically do the same thing, except I'm going to do ladder back jacquard for the main color work on the front, because I had a lot of issues with, like, unevenness and how many, like, 3-stranded rows I had, because the main color was cream and it was kind of see-through, kind of translucent compared to the thickness of the other colors. So that was a big issue. I think I'm going to plan some ladder back jacquard and try and make that work to fix some of the, the color work floats were not, they're just really long and really chaotic. So we're going to try some ladder back jacquard for that. And I had done, like, this color work at the elbow that even at the time I was like, I don't know if I like this. I just made it up on, like, a weird day at work and kind of regretted it. So the sleeves are just going to be plain honeycomb. They also blocked out really long, so I'm going to make sure I don't knit them too long this time. I'm going to make them a little shorter so he doesn't have to roll them up. So we will be doing a project vlog. Probably his birthday's on Halloween, so I guess it'll be his birthday present. We don't need to wait till Christmas. We really don't. And he knows it's coming because I had to ask him, like, I had to confirm that it wasn't with him with the bees in Florida, that it did, actually burn up. So, yeah, I have to get more neutral, like plain cream, undyed Plymouth yarn. I need to get probably like 4 balls of that. Ugh! And then, yeah. I'm a little worried I'm going to run out of the yellow doing the ladder backs. I'm a little concerned. Because I don't want to buy another 100 grams of bright yellow pollen colored yarn. We'll see. That will be an entire video. We'll see. That will be an entire video. It probably will be like an hour-long video called Remaking My Father-in-Law His Bee Sweater because the first one burnt up. So that has been my update. I was getting a lot done until the fire happened, yeah. So this is late because by the time I had gotten the yarn, like the fire happened the weekend before her birthday, so I had no time to like speed make her socks. Under normal circumstances, if I hadn't been doing any family stuff, like emergency family stuff that week, maybe I could have done it. But yeah, everything's totally fine and on schedule. My other 2 birthday gifts are on schedule. I hope that you're doing well and have had no chaos and no family emergencies and no bad weather and none of that. I hope none of that has been going on in your life. It's recital season for my university students, so I expect that you will see me mid-June. These projects will be done. Probably will be making more socks. By then, I probably will make like 1 more pair of socks I can show you and at least 1 tank top for myself. Bye!